Hey, thanks for stopping in. I'm Eric, and let's talk about these. These are the Rift APX boots from Nidecker. They're the sort of top of the line of their Rift, the Rift and the Rift APX, and they're really packed with a lot of really cool tech, and they've got a couple key things that, especially for me, were a real difference maker. So let's break it all down and see how it works. All right, so here they are, the Nidecker Rift APX. This boot has got all kinds of goodies packed in. So many pieces of tech that really would take way too long to go over all of them. But there's a few things that really made a difference in my riding experience. One thing I always struggle with boots is the feeling of heel lift in the back, and these boots kept me locked in. They've got some tech for that to help keep your heel secure against the bottom of the boot. Really did feel that. Didn't feel really any lift at all, which is pretty atypical. Usually I feel quite a bit in most boots, even when I've got them strapped down pretty significantly, especially in a deep turn. And these really didn't have any of that give there, which was really nice. Another thing that's really important for me, and these do a great job of, is they've got a heat moldable liner, so that's great. Makes the feel and the fit feel pretty custom, which is awesome. But in the toe box here, it doesn't really look it, and I didn't think it was going to be the case, but this is a pretty wide toe box, and I've got wide feet, so this is something that always is an issue for me. It was an issue especially with the Burton step-on system, where the attachment points are pretty fixed, making the boots rather sort of constrained in that area and not a lot of give. But in these boots, the toe box is comfortable, it's wide, my feet never feel squished in it, which is kind of a revelation. Usually I'm having to size up in a boot, get something a little bit longer to get that same width out of them. Tried a couple different manufacturers, some are better than others. These do accommodate your more duck-footed individuals like myself pretty darn well. So I was very comfortable. Often in other boots, I'm getting fatigued, and that's the place where I'm starting to really feel it, and it's making me want to end the day. These boots were comfortable the entire day. It was my legs that gave out well before my feet, which is pretty rare for me, so that was awesome. You know, they tout how waterproof they are. They've got this kind of special rubbery base here that is seamless and so forth. Didn't really take them into conditions where they would get really wet, so I can't comment on that, but they sure do kind of look like a rubber rain boot in a lot of ways. This little toe cap here is made of some sort of super plastic material that is extra durable. So the boots are, you know, intended to take a lot of beatings and kicks and keep on ticking. So good for durability. It's definitely a place in other boots in my past where the damage from just kicking in and all the different things that toes take damage from has been a place where the boots have started to rip and tear and show some wear. So having some armor on the front there is pretty cool. Kind of a similar idea here in the back. They've got this kind of rubber integration here that goes all the way up the side of the boot, the back side of the boot. So when you're stepping in or getting into the binding and coming up against the high back, that's going to give you some durability there and some longevity. So that's pretty cool. These boots, you know, they're about $400, $380 or something like that. So they're, you know, relatively higher end boots, and it's good to see some good durability things built in, so these could last you quite a long time, hopefully. That being said, the durability, we can't test that yet. We'll see how long these last. They're very comfortable though, and that was something that was just really stood out to me, is just how much my foot loved being in this boot. And you know, in my 20 years of riding, there's been only a couple of boots that have really felt particularly good, and this is definitely one of them. So that was a fun surprise. Again, the heat moldable liner is great. You know, I popped these in the oven, stood in them, did the whole thing, and you know, you can feel the fit kind of conforming to your footbed and your toes, which is really great. Dual BOA system, you know, standard on a nicer boot like this. They've got some kind of special extra cool BOAs on them that ratchet better and do more things. You know, they cinch in really quick. They feel good. Oh, the liner's got this interesting setup where the, you can see it, but the tightening straps here are actually attached inside of the boot, so the liner is completely separate. It doesn't have the cinching on it at all. It's kind of a cool little feature and really makes the liner feel like it's getting cinched into the boot when you're pulling on that, and not just your foot being cinched into the liner by itself. So you kind of get a little extra hold and feeling of grip. Mid-stiff, so there's some, you know, some reasonable flex in there, but honestly, with the heel being so locked in, the responsiveness was really great. I paired these both with the Nidecker Supermatics and the Carbon Supermatics, and had a blast in both days with those bindings. Softness or relative softness of the boot was not a factor even when I was charging some pretty aggressive lines or getting real slashy and dashy in the trees. Things did just great. You know, they tout some kind of cool pattern on the bottom here that's supposed to emulate like a gecko, and maybe it helps you not slip as much. I haven't put it to the test. I don't know. It didn't stand out. But it's a cool pattern. Looks great on the bottom. The boots are, I mean, their big standout thing is that they're just friggin' comfortable. They're soft to stand in. You could walk around in these. You could probably do a moderate hike in these and you'd be just fine. They're very cozy. And I always struggle with that with boots. So these have been kind of a revelation in that level, which is really cool. Yeah, they're insulated well, warm. Haven't really taken them out into really low temps yet to see how they hold it up and stuff like that. But you can always add a heated sock from one of the many heated sock providers, I guess, these days. So that might not be too much of an issue. One other aspect that we could talk about a little bit with this particular boot is getting in and out of them. You know, I mean, it's always a little bit of a dance, right? Getting into your boots. These have got some cool little pieces here, some flexible backs here. The upper here is very articulating and it kind of has a separate articulation point there, which is nice. So getting in and out of them a little bit easier than boots I've had in the past. You know, you're still doing the one-legged hop dance pop sometimes, but for the most part, I was able to get the bows opened up enough to actually give me the slack to get in and out. Oh. Almost forgot. Let's talk about the one little sticking point that I have with these. So, talking about this lower here, very rubber, all kind of one piece, has lots of advantages. One thing that was a little bit tricky with it was getting in and out of the Supermatic bindings. Now, part of the rear entry system is you gotta step in, you gotta have this push past all of the straps in the binding before you can push your heel down and step in. The straps have some coating on them or some fabric thing that's supposed to help this slide, but I found with these very rubbery boots that I would still sometimes catch and get stuck and have to really kind of muscle my way into them or kind of do a shimmy shake and really put some effort into it. And then every once in a while, just like, all right, I gotta loosen up these bindings a little bit just so I can get the foot all the way in there, toed in, and sat down. I did get better at it, and I did find that if I just muscled through it a lot of the time, it would just work. But that is one little caveat to having this much rubber there, is that the rear entry bindings are going to be a little stickier. But still, overall, great boot and very comfortable. My producer is telling me that I should implore you to like and subscribe if you like content about this kind of stuff, like snowboarding boots and bags and goggles and helmets and all the other goodies that go along with being out there on the mountain. So if you do want some more of that, go ahead and subscribe. If you liked this video and thought it was informative, you can like this video as well. There's a notification bell. Thanks for watching.